You have come forth from your non-physical perspective into what we see as the most dynamic and perfect of environments anywhere. You have come forth into the leading edge of thought. And you did not choose it lightly. You chose it deliberately and powerfully, with all of the defining power that you as a source energy being have. And you said, I will go forth into this magnificent physical time-space reality of great variety and diversity, for I know within it I will find so much that I can turn my undivided, meaning my source energy, attention to. You said, I know the beauty of this place. And in this place of diversity, the beauty that I'm speaking of is not only the stuff that I think I want, that I would like my nest to be feathered with, but it is the stuff that I don't want that helps me to more explicitly define what I do want. I know that I'm a creator and that I need an environment, a palette of paint, if you will, from which to paint. I know that I need an environment that helps me to focus my mind and choose. And I've chosen in this time, in this body, under these circumstances, this time-space reality, because I knew then and I know now that it will evoke within me clear desire, and that the larger part of me has now, there it is again, become it. I understand here in my physical body, you say, that my work, my only work, is to come into alignment with that expanded being that I am. And when I do, the look of this place is almost beyond verbal description. As I walk amongst the people, I see the variety of who they are, and I see the power and cleverness of who they are, and I see even more that which they are becoming. And so in the war and in the confusion and in the argument, I see not just improvement, I see a new world erupting, because I see the expanded version of life as a result of mass consciousness's individual focusing in its individual perspective. I stand in my physical body, you say, and I'm living my life as broadly as I can. And I'm squabbling about salt, and I'm worried about this, and I'm worried about that. But I am defining who I am by reaching for source energy's perspective relative to each thing that I live. And as I allow myself to come into concert with that which is source, as I live the details of my day-to-day life experience, I let myself in on the benefit of all of those generations that have gone before. And most important, I let myself in on the benefit of that which I've created right here, right now, in this body, in this physical time-space reality. As we watch you from our non-physical vantage point, the appreciation we feel for that which you are cannot be accurately spoken in words. But we want you to know, as clearly as Esther can find the words for us to express to you, we want you to know that everything that you are living is causing an expansion of that which you are, and therefore an expansion of that which we are. And we revel in that expansion. We never for a moment mourn you're not coming along with us. We never for a moment, frankly, even notice that you haven't come along. We do not look back and wonder if you're there. We only look in our undivided fashion at that which you have carved out, because we know that as we look at that which you have become and hold a steady gaze upon it and offer a vibration only about that, that if you're listening carefully enough, you will catch the call of source and you will begin moving in the direction of it. And maybe some of you will move closer in the direction of it today, and maybe some of you will not move there until you croak and come all along, but every single one of you without exception will come along with that which we have created. And in all of that is joyful expansion. You did not come into these bodies to have growth. You came into these bodies because growth was inevitable and you wanted to enjoy that growth. The basis of your life is freedom. You did not come to make something happen. You came forth because you knew the happening would be inevitable, and you knew you would enjoy the leading edge perspective of it. Nothing is broken in your world. Nothing needs to be changed. Nothing needs to be different. And yet everything is constantly changing, because it is the inevitable nature of that which is eternal. So as you decide to go with the flow of your eternal nature, and as you stop nitpicking about the way in which you go, and you just understand that you cannot help but go, and you stop comparing yourself to the way others are going, and you stop criticizing them because they're not doing it right, or criticizing you because you're not doing it right, and instead you see yourselves all as adding to the contrast that is adding to the expansion, in time you will find yourselves, as we find ourselves, in love with each and every one of you. And when you love others as we love you, you're going to remember what source is, because you will be it. So what happened to you is you were born into an environment where in most cases you could see and hear and smell and taste and touch things around you, because you were born with translators of vibration. Your eyes translate vibration so that you can see. So you are a translating of energy genius, and you say, oh, here's reality. Well, that's a wonderful thing that you can become immersed in reality. But the thing about you being immersed in reality is that it makes you sometimes only want to be immersed in the already manifested reality. So you get all motivated and activated and enamored with the what is, the what I can already see and hear and smell and taste and touch. And the problem with that is, if you're only offering your vibration about what you're observing, then you can only create more of what you are already observing. If you want something different than what is, you've got to offer a vibration that's different than what is. And that takes some discipline, because what is attractive to you because you can see it. Your airways are full of conversations about what is, even though your environment wants so much that is so different from what is. You keep beating the drum of what is, and so you keep recreating what is. It's like a regurgitation process that's happening in immense proportion right now around you. You can't get something different if you're just talking about what is. So your thoughts will turn to things. And life is exactly the same way. You can all write your movie. You all have a producer called Law of Attraction. And you all have endless funding called the energy that creates worlds. And you all have everything that is necessary to bring the cooperative components together. In other words, you have a staff, you have a team of non-physicals and currents and laws that are helping you turn your ideas about a movie into a full-fledged movie. You create your own reality, whether it's on the screen or whether it's something that comes into your life experience. So you know how in a movie the scene will change, and then you can write it again. We've been breaking it down for you in some rather rudimentary steps. Step one is you, in your physical form, ask for something. And we tell you, when it is asked, it is given. Wrote a whole book about it so you'd believe it. When you ask, it is given. When you ask, it is given. When you know what you don't want, you ask for what you do want, even if you don't put words to it yet. And it is immediately given, because it is a vibrational reality. That's what we're calling this vibrational sphere, where the new evolved you is. And law of attraction is bringing all cooperative components. But the tricky thing is, tricky seeming to you, it's perfectly logical to us, because we understand that vibration precedes all things that are manifested. It's been that way from the beginning of time. In other words, there's got to be a thought, and the thought has to get some momentum going before the thought has enough attraction power to start manifesting into a way that it can be seen more fully through physical senses. Doesn't that seem logical? That a full manifestation is just a more evolved, longer thought about manifestation. So as you have thoughts of doubt, and you keep putting those doubt engines on the opposite end of your train, and then life keeps causing you to want something more, and so you put another engine on the other end of your train. As you move through life, you've got competing engines of bigger and bigger and bigger proportion, and then you feel tense because you're asking and not letting yourself go, and asking and not letting yourself go. And here's the thing that is most interesting to us, and the thing that we most want you to hear from us. Your inner being will never stop calling you this way. Now, if your inner being would stop calling you this way, you'd feel better, since you got opposing engines going the other way. because then at least there wouldn't be tension. You just go in the opposing direction of what you really mean, but it wouldn't be tense. But your inner being will never stop calling you. Your inner being will never stop keeping its promise to you, that since your leading edge physical human experience has caused you, and in fact the entire universe, to expand, your inner being will never stop calling you forward into that expansion. And so that brings us to step 3. Step 1 is you ask. Step 2 is source answers and continues to call you and answer you. Step 3 is you got to find some way to stop putting engines on the other end of that train. You got to find some way to get into the receiving mode or the allowing mode, so that you allow yourself to be the receiver of what you're asking for. So it's nice, and we know you often appreciate witnessing good things coming to others. There's nothing more thrilling than to love someone and watch them thrive. But sometimes when someone else is thriving and you are not, then you make up things that are not true about why. You try to explain that they're thriving because they have better advantages. They're thriving because they were born into it, or they were thriving because they had this education or this advantage, or. And every time you do that, you're really talking about your disadvantage. And when you keep active in your vibration, your own disadvantage, when you are rationalizing or justifying or defending yourself, you're stacking up those engines of resistance, and you are limiting your own ability to move. But here's the thing. You've already asked, and it's already been given, and you're already being called. And so every time you do that, the tension is greater within you, which causes you to feel greater anger or greater depression or greater feeling that you are being left out in some way. And we want you to know you are never being left out. As you look across the board in the world in which you live, on subject after subject as it relates to you or maybe to others, you might notice that things are not even. Different people are living different experiences, and certainly it isn't even, but it is always fair, because it is always law of attraction responding to the vibrational output of whatever's going on. So rather than arguing in a limiting way that it's just not fair that you're not getting something and somebody else is, stop, if you can, looking at the manifestation and begin to evaluate just for a little while what you're doing vibrationally. Because what you will begin to notice is that those that are thriving on whatever subject of desire it is that you are witnessing are thriving because their mood or their attitude or their opinion about it is something that is working for them. You cannot work against yourself, even by noticing what is, if what is isn't what you want to be, without limiting yourself. And that slowdown doesn't feel good to you. Doesn't feel good to you because of the energy drain of contradicted energy. It doesn't feel good because of the lack of clarity that you are providing for yourself, the clarity that you are not allowing yourself to experience. And then it ultimately doesn't feel good because as it unfolds, it's just more bad news to you. And then it really doesn't feel good when something manifests that you clearly do not want. And we are just saying, you have more control of your experience than maybe you have realized, and that's why we like to visit with you.